Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me on the Big Picture podcast. I'm in the Dublin studio of illustrator Chris Judge.
Hello, how are you?
Chris is my old pal. We used to share a building together, and it's great to be back in Chris's studio, which is lovely and neat and tidy, unlike mine. But Chris is going to tell us a little bit about his work. Okay, Chris, let's go way back to when you were a little kid.
Okay, gosh.
Drawing at home. Did you have an idea that you wanted to be an illustrator?
Yeah, oh definitely. I suppose I think nearly any illustrator and artist that I meet now is always that person in the class who used to be good at drawing and be able to draw the teachers and use it as a threat to draw people in your class so you didn't get bullied kind of. And so I was that guy who drew everything and I was the best in my class and all that. And then you get secondary school and there's like 4 other guys who are really good at drawing, and then you go to college and everyone's good at drawing, so you're in the mix then.
Right.
So yeah, definitely from day one it was like, yeah, I want to draw.
At that stage, when you were the kid at school doing all the drawings, were they cartoony drawings? Would we even recognise the same style that you have today?
Probably not. I mean, the way I learned to draw was, well, my dad and my mum. My dad is, but both of them are brilliant at drawing. But my dad had a really lovely kind of 1950s style that we'd draw with him all the time. And then of course Asterix and Tintin, and then 2000 AD. All before my teens, I was just copying Judge Dredd and just constantly.
And do you think you learned a lot by copying from those comics? Because I used to do that.
Yeah, I think.
There are some people that sort of they say, "Oh, you mustn't copy," but I learned an awful lot.
I learned everything. I think. Yeah, I mean, just copying, especially 2000 AD artists. I mean, even looking back, they're still some of the greatest art in any comics, and the satisfaction of being able to draw like Mike McMahon or Brian Bowen. Like, I'm sure if I saw them now, they'd be hilarious. My versions. Yeah. But just if you captured something of their style, it was just so brilliant. And then they started to bleed into my own style.
And did you do your own comics at that stage?
Yeah, I did. I have comics in my parents' attic. This character called Mike, who could fly and shoot lasers out of his eyes. And I'd love to. I must dig them out. But yeah, it spends.
I used to do one with my brother, and it was very rude stuff. I think it was called Fartor. He used to fly through the air, and it was like Captain Underpants.
Yeah,
a bit similar to that, but it was done a few years earlier.
You make a fortune off of it now.
If only we missed that boat. So you went to art college in Dublin?
Yeah, I went to Laureate. I studied graphic design there, so design communication as it was at the time.
Yeah, and at that stage did you feel you might go off to become a designer or a different type of artist, or were you still set on being an illustrator?
I actually stopped drawing in college. I mean, there was life drawing and stuff, but design at that time, kind of late 90s or mid to late 90s, was very serious. So I got to college all excited about drawing, and then it was like, no, you must use a scalpel and cut out black lines of text and glue it onto serious looking. Yeah, and I was like, oh damn.
Weren't you all using Apple Macs?
There was just 3 Macs in the college at that stage, and you had to kind of book it a week ahead. So I didn't even really learn how to use Photoshop or Illustrator or anything. So it wasn't until I left college and my parents bought me a Mac, and I spent a year just learning Photoshop because I didn't know anything leaving college. It's very different now. I mean, students are so in tune with all that.
But most of your work is probably. A lot of the work is done in the computer, but it starts off as drawings on paper, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I kind of fought against the digital thing up until like 6 months ago. I mean, I bought a few Wacom tablets a couple of times, and I couldn't kind of get used to the looking at the screen and drawing here thing. Some people can just tune into that very quickly. So everything I was doing, I was still kind of a bit of a snob about. I must do everything on paper, then scan it so it has an organic feel. And then I had a go of an iPad Pro. Someone showed me this Procreate app. Yeah. And it just instantly went, this feels totally normal, and like I just drew in my own style straight away, and
so it's just like drawing on paper.
Yeah. I mean,
it's that sensitive.
It's the pencil's just incredible. So it's the first time I went, okay, I'm kind of ready to embrace digital, and I haven't looked back. Like, so it's been a massive help, especially for the volume of illustrations I have to do for some of the books. And
Okay, well, talk us through some of the books that you've done. You were telling me now you're doing a lot of work on the Danger books with David O'Doherty.
That's right, yeah.
And they're very labour intensive because there's like a picture per spread. Is that right?
There's actually there's nearly 4 or 5 per spread. So I mean, you can. I mean, there's maybe one or two there, but I mean, it works out almost 700 or 800 illustrations. Yeah. So the first 2 I did the orange and yellow one here. I did them all by pencil sketching, inking, scanning, cleaning up, dropping in, and I designed all the layouts and text as well. So it's just incredibly labour intensive. And now I have Marty Cleary who's working for me. Yeah. He comes in like 2 or 3 days a week when we're really busy, and that's just been amazing. But now with the tablet, you can sketch and ink it there without a scanner.
Is Marty doing any of the actual drawing?
No, well? So he's kind of during this book he was just scanning, cleaning up, dropping in, and just arranging everything, and then he was storyboarding as well. Just very good.
So you get to do the fun stuff, and he's doing the hard labour.
Sorry, Marty. But no, I suppose it just physically couldn't do it because I'm doing maybe 3 or 4 books a year now. Yeah. And it can't be a one-man project now at this stage. So
And where are you with the Danger books? Are you on the 3rd one now?
On the 3rd one now, so the green one as it's called. And that's out in the end of September.
Tell us a bit about the Danger books. How you got tied up with David.
Yeah.
And you do a bit of promotional travelling around where you do drawing and David does talking, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, when I had my first book published, I didn't realise you'd have to be an entertainer as well. So my first picture book, but it was like, get out there and entertain these kids, and I just really struggled with that. It terrified me. I really enjoy it now because you get a lot of feedback. But with David, it's totally different because he's a proper entertainer. So I get to stand on the audience, and he tells everyone I have a horrible voice and I'm not going to do any talk. So I just draw lots of silly pictures, and he just
you don't say a word?
Don't say a word.
Oh no.
So he gets me to kind of go, everyone listen to his boring voice, and I go, hello everyone, and then he's like, see, and then he just does an amazing entertainment show.
And is that very much for kids?
Yeah, very much for kids. I mean, I find a lot of adults do show up because he's well known on the stand-up circuit, and so I mean it's he really takes the mick out of any adults that are there. So the kids love that,
and those kids have been those books have been doing well in all around Britain, Ireland.
Yeah, and it's out in the States, and I think we're up to 14 languages now, which is great.
Oh,
so
amazing,
so all over Europe and it's great. I haven't got to travel there yet, but hopefully
that's brilliant.
Do some of that. Yeah.
Well, but I remember when you I think when you first got into picture books.
Yeah.
It was the Beast.
Yeah. First person I contacted was you.
Yeah, and I was very flattered by that.
Well, it was just amazing. I mean, I worked at night basically on this book that I didn't know if I was doing the right thing or whatever, and I had probably 40 pages. The usual is 32. And I kind of rang you one day and said, can I send you my book, PJ? Hello, I'm a big fan and all this. And so you were kindly, I sent it through, and you probably don't really remember much of it, but
of course I do. Yeah,
but it was very important because you at the time mailed back and said, looks fantastic, but I'm going to be brutally honest, and I've done that since, because there's no point you going, it looks lovely, send it off, and you told me where to cull certain bits and
and you didn't listen to my advice.
I did. I stripped out 7 spreads or 6
really?
spreads. Yeah. And just instantly made the story tighter.
Oh, very good.
It was very meandering at first.
Yeah. But I remember whenever you sent it to me, and it was so complete. It looked like it was already a book. So you got some books printed.
So I used this Blurb company, and they made kind of mini versions. So this is the final book, but I made a kind of version that was probably about that size, a totally different cover and terrible text.
But it was nicely printed.
It looked like that.
It looked like a picture book.
It was perfect. Yeah. So and then I sent it out. I got a couple of names from you, and then I looked up that the what's that handbook? The
Writers and Artists.
Yeah. And I sent out 18 copies, and I got back 17, very polite, no thank yous.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I was like, these letters and emails, and I was just getting more and more deflated. And then I sent it to Anderson Press, who you'd worked with. You gave me Klaus's name.
Yeah.
And Klaus, a day later, sent back a mail going, okay, well, this is how I see we'll do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you mean you want to print it? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh my god, that was the greatest day of my life. Yes, it was leaping around the apartment we were living at the time.
It went on, and I know it won the Dublin Book Award for children's books.
That's right, yeah, the Irish Book Awards.
Other prizes, anything else?
Yeah, won another prize in the UK and a couple of nominations and stuff. So yeah, it was just an amazing year. So it was this incredible kind of 18 months of someone taking a risk and publishing my book, and then been up there in front of Seamus Heaney and the president going, thanks everyone. Just fantastic. So didn't win any more awards since, but that's fine.
Well, it was very well deserved. Now, talk about the beast himself. Where did he spring from? Because if you look at him, he's jet black. He could be considered to be quite a sinister looking character. Look at those claws.
Well,
and yet somehow you've made him the centre of your book, and he's a very appealing sort of anti-hero.
He is. I mean, he came a bit just from, I used to take photographs and kind of nature scenes and stuff, and I just used to like dropping him in, and because he's totally black, you didn't have to Photoshop him into behind stuff. He just looked like he was there, so it was kind of just fun to plop him into these kind of photographs and painting into, I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, just into these prints and stuff, and it just worked really well. He just sat in perfectly. And then when I went to make a picture book, I was kind of looking at all these characters I had, and he just kind of stood out, and it was a big challenge because he's obviously no features and no mouth or anything, so I had to get all of his emotions through with his arms and legs and eyes opening slightly wider. One of the key things I learned was not to go, the beast is leaving his house. You can see him leaving his house and say something else.
Can
so
I look?
Sorry, yeah.
No, that's a very important point actually, because I think people, especially people starting out, they do overdo it. They put too many words in.
Too elaborate and also, like, because I've so many books before that just will never see the light of day, because they just have no story, and it took me a long time to realise you have to have a good story, a beginning, middle, end, and or a good idea at least.
I love your colour schemes.
Oh, thanks so much.
And again, with those, the artwork would have been on paper and then you scanned it. You talked about putting that lovely texture on there. Yeah, that's so digitally done.
So everything is drawn by hand, then dropped in, and then I coloured all the line work, which I kind of regret because it was such a huge amount of work.
Yeah.
And then coloured in Photoshop, and then I scanned in different paper textures and overlaid them, and just to give it more of a rich kind of feel.
A very organic kind of
feel, which I think suits that. I'm kind of not using textures anymore. It's just a bit more simple. I'm kind of trying to simplify my stuff.
Right. Right. You've also illustrated Roddy Doyle's Brilliant, and tell us about that process. Was the story just given to you and you had, or did you work with Roddy at all?
No, it was just that he had completed, and I was sent the story with a brief and kind of a layout and scale and image sizes and that kind of thing. So it was a huge help rather than trying to design it all myself.
And you're working on another book by Roddy? Yeah,
working on his new children's book now at the moment. So so that's great fun.
Apart from kids' books, do you remember you were talking about all these books that won't see the light of day?
Yeah.
Tell me about the Crumlin Children's Hospital. Those big illustrations, and you used some illustrations from projects that you didn't think were going to happen. Yeah,
so I've a folder of, there's about 9 books of that I've started, and you get so far and you go, that's not working, and all different characters, and I've some that are nearly finished, and in fact one that I'd done a lot of work on, and then just didn't work. They weren't strong enough, so they put away. And so I took, when I was asked to do some artwork for Crumlin Children's Hospital, and I was looking at, I had this massive space to fill. We didn't have much time because the room had to be finished for a certain time. Yeah. So I went and looked at all these characters I had, and I built this massive kind of forest scene, and I just plunked in all the characters and designed a few new ones. Yeah. So it was great. So
well, it looks beautiful.
Thanks a million. Yeah,
And do the kids like it?
Yeah, love it. Yeah, so it was just great that all these characters that were locked away in a drawer were able to, you know, see
I know, and the size. That you're working quite big there. Tell us about the other project where you're working really big, the mosaic.
Stanhope School, in Dublin. So, I mean, I was up against 12 artists, and I know there's a lot of schools being built, and I've applied for maybe 10 or 12 of these, and they're very difficult to get through the process, and every school is looking for a different thing. But luckily, I won this Stanhope Street with my design. And then I worked with my brother-in-law, he himself and two of his friends have a company called Triskel, who do these fantastic mosaics. So they took my drawing and then they built this kind of 30 foot by 6 foot mosaic. Yeah, so that was incredible. So I was working, you know, this big.
Did you get to work on the mosaic itself, or did you just leave it up to them?
I left it up to them. I went out to their studio every couple of weeks and watched them build it up in pieces, which is incredible. I know you've
same process. I would have liked to have got hands on with it, but I'm not a mosaic artist.
No, well, that's the thing. So I mean, and I was looking at
you hand it over to the experts.
Yeah, and they I was sending them very flat, colours and line work. I kept it very simple, but then they came up with their own techniques for each character and how to blend it, and it's just incredible. But then translating it into, you know, each little tile is just incredible. So
it's very, very beautiful finished object.
Absolutely, and it's so durable. So
I love the way they have some big chunky bits and some smaller bits.
Just brilliant. And I love seeing it come to life and just how they interpreted my stuff, you know. So that was brilliant. So it's very much a collaborative thing. It wasn't. I really don't feel it's just my piece, you know.
So I mean, we've in this short interview we've covered books, we've covered mosaic, we've covered the work you've done for Crumlin.
I do a good bit of commercial. The books have kind of taken over, and I'm now doing a series with my brother Andrew. So we've done there's 2 published of those with Scholastic, that kind of create your own adventures. And we're just working a bit to start on the 3rd and 4th. So between that, the Danger, and then I'm hoping to do a new picture book next year.
There was another thing I wanted to ask you about. Was the app that you did with the Beast. Do you remember the Beast? It was learned through the alphabet.
Yeah, we did a ABC and then a 1, 2, 3. So I really like when James and Simon came to me about the apps. I was really excited because it's a whole new thing, and I'm not a big fan of kids having iPads all the time, but this felt like a natural kind of complement to the books. I think in this day and age, certainly, it's very difficult to make a living from just one kind of avenue of your work.
Like animation. Involved with that?
Not yet. I work. Some of my work has been animated for ads and that kind of stuff, and I really enjoyed that. It was just fantastic seeing your drawings come to life. And so I'd at some stage I'd love to see one of the picture books, and maybe Danger. We've been kind of talking to a few people about a TV show, but you know, it's all pie in the sky stuff. But
Chris, do you have any advice for young illustrators starting out today?
I think the main thing is to just take it slowly, and there's no rush to be a successful illustrator, because you'll probably never feel it anyway. Always striving to get ahead, but just take it slowly and don't worry about your style. People, you know, have this big thing that they have to have this certain style, and this is their style from now on, because it'll just change, and you look back 2 years and go, Jesus, like, sorry, my leg hurts.
Yeah, go for it.
And I look back at stuff, you know, even my first picture books, I kind of wince at a few techniques I use and that kind of thing. Like, I'm still so proud, but it's always just to explore different styles and just.
And would you say you're still developing as an artist? You haven't just set into one style. You're still changing and exploring.
I'm ready to try something totally new now, and I've been doing a lot of the black and white books for a while, so I'm a bit out of touch with my colour stuff, and so I'm really excited now to hopefully start a new picture book in a totally different kind of way. But yeah, just take it slowly and enjoy it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Work hard. You have to work very hard.
Very important. Thank you very much, Chris Judge, for joining me on the Big Picture podcast. And where can people see more of your work, Chris?
You can find me on chrisjudge.com and then on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah.
Not Facebook.
Not Facebook.
Thanks very much.